Okay.
All right, welcome to Star Wars Fanatics. I've got myself Tattoo Trooper. I've got Hunter with me from that hashtag show. We're going to do a quick fan theory, kind of keep it real light. We're in search, just like Ahsoka Tano, for Thrawn. We're still trying to find Ro. He's out there somewhere, probably drinking some great Neff vodka. So let's go ahead and get into this. Hunter, how you doing tonight?
I'm doing pretty good. Sorry that we couldn't get Ro in on the theory tonight, but it's a pretty interesting one that's pretty out there that I haven't heard in a lot of places. So why don't we just get right into it?
Yeah, well, let's talk about this, right? So, all right. So, first of all, there's been a ton of theories. We know Grogu got, or Grogu, sorry, Grogu. Grogu got placed on top of in Tython, and he got placed on top of the Jedi beacon, for lack of a better word, or where the temple used to be, and something happened. Now, what happened with Grogu is he reached out in the Force. Ahsoka basically told him to. That's what's going to happen. What's interesting to me was she said she couldn't train him, but at the very end of that chapter 13 said, let him reach out to another Jedi and see what happens. So that was kind of interesting, right? So we kind of build on that becomes what's been happening throughout this. We've had major reveals. We've had the reveal in the very first of Cobb Vanth, which we called about a year ago. And then Boba at the end of that. Then we have Bo-Katan. Then we have Ahsoka Tano. This is all within a couple episodes. And then you get Boba Fett and Ferrick right there. So true Favreau Filoni style is really to have these epic reveals. Think about season 1, think about Clone Wars, think about Rebels, even think about the Marvel Universe and the way they work through that. But these epic reveals become the red herring or the thing away. So who's the Jedi that Grogu calls? And we've heard some wild theories. Why don't you go ahead and start with some, Hunter? What do you think?
So yeah, the I would say the most common one would be Ezra Bridger, just because of the Rebels connection between Filoni and the show. And then we've seen some on our own website from about Luke Skywalker. We've seen Mace Windu. We've heard a bunch of different ones. You know, I've seen Yoda on Facebook, which some people, I don't know how that would make sense, but people
Yeah.
were justifying it. I guess we can knock down some of these before we get to the big one
Yeah,
here. So let's
let's
start
talk
with
about
Mace Windu.
talk about the top 3, right? So Mace Windu. I'm sure that let's talk about that. Mace Windu, handless Mace Windu, it would be great. It would be awesome to see him. We don't know if he actually died. Lucas told oh my gosh, told
Samuel L. Jackson.
Samuel Jackson, sorry. What happens is Lucas told him he's alive, he's fine. But the reality of that is how's that going to work up with Boba Fett? He killed his dad. Is he just going to walk up and hug him?
Yeah.
So it doesn't hold water. Luke Skywalker, they've done some pains to stay away from a lot of the Skywalker trilogy in this. In addition to that, if Mark Hamill or Sebastian Stan walked onto that set, it's gonna leak. There's pictures left and right everywhere.
Yeah.
Ezra Bridger, I think, does make sense, but again, I kind of go back to that red herring piece that they like to do. They look this way, so I can go this way. Very magician-like. And I think Ahsoka Tano is going to have her own series. And we'll know tomorrow when they announce some of the new series pieces, or Thursday, excuse me, when they announce some of the new series pieces. But Thrawn, Mandalorian, Ezra Bridger, it's not its own story. It ties it too much together. And if you notice, even with Death Watch and Bo-Katan, they just walked away. They're like, okay, great, thanks a lot, and they went away. They did the same with Ahsoka Tano. Thanks a lot, and they kind of went away. And then they brought back the Imperial mercenary from season 1, which everybody thought was a throwaway episode, played by Bill Burr.
Mm-hmm.
So I thought that was pretty cool. So here, let me go into my theory. Let's go into what we're talking about.
Yeah, let's just dive in.
So in the 90s, if you were playing and into Star Wars, you were reading Heir to the Empire and playing Dark Forces. In Dark Forces and Dark Forces 2, you have a guy named Kyle Katarn. Kyle Katarn has his own piece. Dark Forces is set 1 year after the original Star Wars or A New Hope. He discovers a Dark Trooper project, fights through General Mulk, And then at the very end of it, Darth Vader says the Force is strong with him. Dark Forces 2 takes place 1 year before Return of the Jedi. That's where he discovers he's a Jedi Knight, goes to the Valley of the Jedi, fights some Dark Jedi and some Gray Jedi, and I know we're going to get some flack for that. But there was an expansion for Dark Forces 2, and it's set basically, it's 2 years later, it's set absolutely 10 ABY, 6 years after Return of the Jedi, 5 years after Dark Forces 2, which fits the Mandalorian time frame perfectly. So now we're right in the time frame. But here's who it introduces. At this point, Kyle Katarn's a Jedi Knight, and his apprentice is, I'll let you do the reveal,
It's Miss Mara Jade.
Miss Mara Jade. And it's really her second appearance because she's heir to the Empire and a couple other novels and stuff, but it's her first real appearance. She's in she just like Katarn, she was part of the Galactic Empire, became a mercenary, and then becomes an apprentice. Now, I'm not saying that we're going to get to the point where Mara Jade is marrying Luke Skywalker, but she is technically canon, not because of what everybody thinks. That was a rumor, and it was dispelled. Where in Galaxy's Edge in Disneyland, somebody put Mara Jade lives. That was dispelled as a rumor. But she was mentioned in a book called The Jedi Path, and Luke mentions her. Luke Skywalker says, someone important to him named Mara. And this is in 2017. It's canon. She hasn't been canon before that, but at least the first name Mara is. Only stormtroopers and being part of a large costuming group, I happen to know what's canon, what's not canon with stormtroopers. Incinerator troopers weren't canon prior to season 1, which that's the guy with the flamethrower.
Mm-hmm.
The mortar troopers were, and they were only seen in the Dark Forces. Same with the mortar troopers, and same with the dark troopers.
Yes, and then obviously, very famously, we have dark troopers now in The Mandalorian.
Yes. So could the big reveal be that Kyle Katarn hears this? He cuts himself off from the Force later, and there's another piece. It's not canon, but it is a video game reference that I don't think a lot of people are looking at. But could this big reveal? They give you Red Herring 1, right? Let's introduce Death Watch, we've introduced Death Watch. Let's introduce Bo-Katan. Let's introduce Ahsoka Tano. Let's introduce Thrawn. Let's introduce Boba Fett. And then at the end of that, let's really surprise them and bring in one of the most beloved characters in all of Star Wars that's never been canon, which is Mara Jade, but also Kyle Katarn. So that's the theory. That's what we're thinking. We could be completely wrong, and we're okay with it. We'll still have beers and talk about these theories as we go. But Hunter, what are your thoughts as we close out?
I think that it would be a pretty earth-shattering decision for them to do that, but it sort of makes sense because you can see all these characters that they have introduced. They're already part of the canon. They're already established characters that everybody knows from Clone Wars, which the last season just came out recently, so people have it fresh in their mind. But these could be ways that Disney and Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni are reaching into that extended universe, that Legends universe, or whatever you want to call it, and cherry picking the best parts of it, because like you said, it is convoluted. There is a lot of material to get through, but there are some really good parts of the EU that they can use, and these two characters are probably the two best examples of it.
Perfect. All right, I've been Tattoo Trooper. This has been a half piece of Star Wars Fanatics, but I've had my great guest Hunter. Hunter's one of our writers at the Hashtag Show. He's a great writer. Please check out his things. Check out his articles. Check me out if you want. You guys have a great night.
Yep, and we'll see what happens on The Mandalorian, and you can hear from us again on that Hashtag Show, and have a good night.